What's going on, everybody? This is Afro Think Tank. That's my house right there. Built that for $10,000. I like to throw that out there. Built the whole house for $10,000. Built a 10-foot wall around a whole goddamn plot of land for $3,000. So that's $13,000. No mortgage. Spent another $1,000 on some solar panels. No utility bill. Spent $300 on a water well. Spent another couple hundred dollars on a pump and some PVC pipe. Don't got paid for water. Like when I come to Nigeria, I go to my other home in Nigeria, right? It's instant peace, man. It's like instant. I don't even know what to call it. I don't know what it's called. But it's like my blood pressure just drops. You know? Like it just drops. Because I'm coming and I see stuff like this. Look at this view. That's just jungle. There's a river down there somewhere. I ain't been that far down there to go there, but because it's dangerous. But there's a river down there. You know, you just peace and quiet, no noise pollution really. And you know, another good thing, now that Nigerians and Africans in general have really started to adapt the solar power thing, you don't hear a lot of generators like you used to. Like before, when I first came here, generators, just noise pollution with diesel and gas generators. Now, silence. And one good thing I think you can come out of this whole situation in Africa, how it's been arrested development on a national scale due to white supremacy, global white supremacy. Africa kind of skipped the late edge of analog and early digital, right? So they don't have that late analog, early digital infrastructure that they have to tear down in order to put, the new clean energy infrastructure, right? So everybody here is on solar power. Like, so here's the thing, guys. When you got African Americans, thinking about Africa, you got to think, what is it that you want, right? In America and Western society, you hustle. But the point of the hustle is so that you can at some point accumulate enough money so you can sit back and relax, right? And then we work 80 hours. I mean, we just work ridiculous hours, right? In the US, right? Even though Korea and China and Japan got us beat by a country mile, right? But nonetheless, we work extremely hard. And what happens is we get so wrapped up in this hustle mentality, we'll wake up, be old, burnt out, ain't got nothing to show for it because we got mortgages that we don't pay off. None of us in America really own houses. I got 2 homes in America, right? I got 2 houses here too. But the 2 houses here, I don't have a mortgage or utilities. 2 houses at home, I got taxes, mortgage, utilities, right? So think about what kind of life is it that you're really trying to live? What's the end game for this hustle mentality? Why do you want to be rich? What is the point of being rich? The point of being rich is so you don't have to get up and go to work. You don't have to get up on a schedule. You don't have to be on somebody else's time. And you can just do whatever you want. Hello. Hi. Look at these people. That's long time. Huh? Bread. I have it. I will. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Your neighbors, they're out there farming on their front yard. Listen, that's the front yard, right? In the West, they teach us front yard, grass, cut it, make it uniformed, right? And we waste our front yard. We waste our backyard because we want to cut it and make it uniform because Western society says, what? Make it look nice and neat. But it's dead. You got wasted space. These people grow food in their front yard and their backyard, right? A lot of these people legitimately grow their vegetation, their vegetables. They go to the store and they buy their meats or they subsidize it, right? So the good thing about Africa is the people who you consider poor, they're not really poor. They have more land than most people in America. They own their homes, unlike people in America. So, when times get rough, one of the bills they don't have to worry about is how I'm going to pay that mortgage, how I'm going to pay that utility bill. Even if, let's say, you really ain't got it here in Africa, right? You poor, but it's warm. So you never have to worry about dealing with the winter and being poor. Another thing you don't have to deal with, just like America, the hunger situation. Like there's food everywhere here. Like if you know what you're doing, you can literally come out here and eat for free. All right. You can pluck food off trees that's just growing naturally. But in the United States, we don't even have, you would think that every other tree in the city would be a fruit tree or, some sort of, tree with an edible, something edible. There's so many perennial vegetables that are natural to North America that the food industry has made illegal or don't teach you about, so you can buy all that GMO crap at their grocery stores, right? With the there's like 5 food distribution companies that feed all of us. So no matter what grocery store you go to, you're getting the same crap, right? Wonder why everybody's getting cancer and diabetes and shit, because of the shit they put in their food. Here, no problems. You can eat all day. Everything's organic. Pull a yam out the ground, you're good, And speaking of yams, worst case scenario, you got a little land, you ain't got it like that. You plant a few yams, and guess what? You got food. Yams are guaranteed to grow. Cassava, guaranteed to grow. Things like that, right? So, you just got to figure out what it is that you want out of life and really go after that thing instead of rich. Because riches is not it. Look at all these people that's rich, but they work and bust their ass, and they continue to work and bust their ass. And people think that social media is the new thing to do. But look at some of these people on social media. They gotta wake up every day and make a ton of videos. How you doing? They gotta wake up every day. What's going on? And make a ton of videos just to be relevant, just so they can get paid, right? Because living in a white Western society, that rotational bill don't stop no matter what you're doing, right? And even if you, get some money, elevate yourself, what you gonna do? Go buy a bigger house, right? That's gonna have a bigger bill. That's gonna cause you the same stress you had when you was in the hood with your smaller bill and your smaller paycheck. But here, you make some money, you build a giant house. Guess what? You build a giant mansion from scratch. Guess what you're not doing? You still ain't paying utility bills. You still ain't got a mortgage. You understand? You still don't, you dig your well or borehole, you still ain't got to worry about anything. Hello, how are you? You don't have to worry about nothing. I'm looking at you. I'll see you later. Huh? Yes, that's my little minion right there. All these kids. That's my little, I call them all these are my kids. I don't care what y'all say. These are my kids. Any kid you see me talk to in my videos, they're mine. All right, and because that term, it takes a village. Where do you think we got that from? Huh? Where do you think we got that? It takes a village. It takes a village to raise a child. All right? And legitimately, like a village. Like, these children get their ass whipped no matter where they go if they do something bad. Shit, there's an auntie and a grandma's and an uncle somewhere. God damn it. But if it's freedom that you want, if it's time that you want, Africa is a good foundation for that. If you put in the sweat and economic equity at the beginning to build what you want. Now, is it easy? No. Is it simple? No. All right? None of this stuff is simple and easy. Don't let anybody think that tell you that the shit's simple and easy. Y'all been watching me for how long? I done took several L's, right? But all those L's have just been nothing but lessons for me, right? So you got to understand, you got to do your due diligence, do your duty. How you doing? And you just got to take baby steps, right? I got a lot of people that ask me, man, I'm trying to get to Africa. I'm trying to move. Y'all be trying to move to Africa on the first trip. I'd be like, no, take a vacation. Find a place in Africa where you feel comfortable. There may be a country that you don't feel comfortable in. It may not be enough development for you per se. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta figure out what it is that you want to do and do it. Oh, I got these little whippersnappers. Do you see this one right here? Let me show you this one right here. This one right here, she scams me every time I come here. Hey, scammer, you. This one scams me every time I come here. She steals all of my snacks. Huh? She steals all my snacks. She give me that look. Look at that look. Look at that face. Huh? She give me that face and dang, everything out my pocket gone. All right? Scammers. The kids. That's what will scam me to death. I come here thinking it's for me and it be for them. That's just what happens. So yes, you will get scammed in Africa by these little ones right here. All right. It's not like India. Them badass little kids in India be trying to, them like professionals. But these ones right here. But as you can see, You know, you're not begging me for anything. And what you see as begging culture in Africa is not begging culture. What it is if you are a person coming home and you're a person of means and you look like you have means, when you come home from abroad, when you come home from an adventure, you're supposed to bring the spoils of your adventure home with you. So people expect that. That's old as mankind, right? So they have a thing where they think you're gonna bring them something. That's just a common culture. That's an African culture. Did you bring me anything, right? So with that common did you bring me anything culture mixed with what we now modern day call scamming, it can be looked at as scamming. It can be looked at as people begging because they're poor. No, these people, these kids, you see them kids right there, they not poor. Them kids got houses that they ain't got to pay for. Them kids got fresh water that they don't have to necessarily boil. Them kids eat good, all organic food, right? And the clothes that you see them wear, those are called outside clothes, okay? So when you see a kid with some raggedy clothes on outside, it's because the children, the parents are smart enough in Africa, right? The same way in the black community, you don't let your baby go outside with the good clothes. No. Put them raggedy ass clothes on, go play in the dirt outside. That's what you do. That's what they do here, right? So they wear their raggedy clothes, play in the dirt. When it's time to get dressed up to go to church, or go to the mosque, or go to African traditional ceremony, or to go, it may be kids' day, it may be uniform day, it may be dress nice day. They got all kind of holidays here, man. It's ridiculous. Like I thought because the Caribbean had made up holidays just to go out and party. They get it honestly because there's about a million every goddamn week. There's a goddamn holiday for some reason to give people excuses to dress up and party and drink and eat and all that stuff. So they always got things to do, and that's part of the community. And each community has their own community events that they throw that people traditionally invite you to. Like people still take postcards, invitation cards, and deliver it to people's houses, even though everybody has a cell phone. Every other person here either has an iPhone. They love iPhones here in Nigeria for some reason, or they got the same phone I got, Samsung, Galaxy, something, just something, right? But they got all the technology we got. It's just that they're able to live free. And here's another thing that get me. When I show where I'm at, right? Because you can have two extremes. You can have people who go to Africa and they show all the poverty, right? Nothing but poverty, because that's the narrative they want to spin. Then you got people who show nothing but the greatest, the creme de la creme, right? Which is nice and all, but it doesn't tell the real story. Me, I like to show you the real story. So I'll show you, the community, no matter how undeveloped, developed, or in development it is. Why? Because when people go to Europe, when they go to Greece, right? When they go to Italy, you see them old ass, listen, look at this. And you see something like this, right? Just some unfinished, just some concrete, whatever. People be like, oh, look at that rustic, ancient, old history. Look how authentic it is. It's part of the aesthetic of Italy, right? Even though Italy is built the same way Africa is built. A bunch of rocks, right? That's chipped into form and stacked on each other in order to make buildings, right? It's the same architecture, same old architecture, right? But when you think about it in Europe, it's like, oh, look at this ancient Roman Colosseum that's halfway broke. Look at this, or you go to Europe, look at this failure of a tower. We call it the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Look at all this crap, right? But y'all, the Europeans, they make it seem like that was like on purpose and shit. But you go to Africa, they like, oh, look at that poor, look at them people, they're poor, look at that dilapidation, look at that lack of development. It's like, no. It's the same shit, right? So I sow real shit. So when you watch my video, you're never going to say, oh, damn. You would never watch my videos and be like, damn, Nigeria is the most developed place in Africa. I need to go there because it's most developed. And then when you get here, you realize the development is over there and the poverty is over there, and you feel like you got bamboozled. That's not going to happen with me. And you're not going to say, I'm not going to Nigeria because that place looks terrible. I can't survive there. People are starving and everybody got no. You'll never get that from me because that's not true. So I like to keep it real and just, this is the reality, right? If you've been to the Caribbean, if you know the Caribbean, if you ever frequent the Caribbean, if you ever been to the Dominican, especially all you passport bros, all right, stop faking like y'all passport bros when they're up in somebody's daggone community up in the Dominican Republic. Hello. Have you noticed how I always stop my videos and I say hello to everybody? Because people greet people here. And when I walk and they see me, they expect me to say hello because that's just common courtesy, right? Something we used to do in the black community. Remember, right? So when I see, people come here and they lie, it motivates me to come out here to show the real, right? Because when you see my YouTube channels, you'll see the real Africa from my perspective, obviously, but I at least give you an opportunity to look at the good and the bad and like, okay. Because, you know, if you want to really get out the mud, you gotta go find some mud. See, you want to go to a lot of African Americans, y'all want to go places that's already developed, right? Now, if you want to do that, there are places. Now, you can go to places in Nigeria that's got 5-star everything. Yeah, you can stay there and isolate yourself into those specific locations. But if you want to explore, you got to see the breadth of everything, right? And so I like to show the breadth of everything so you can get a real view, right? And a real view of the people, not people performing for the camera, right? And not people running away from the camera, right? As you can see, I get along with everyone. You see, look at me, I'm walking around, right? Did you see any Boko Haram attacking me somewhere? Huh? Half these people that you see me talking to are Muslim, the other half are Christian. They don't care either way. Like when I say they don't care, Muslims and Christians marry each other and one just stays Muslim. They go to the mosque on Friday. And then the Christian one goes to the church on Sunday and Friday, Wednesday, and all them other days. Y'all know how churches are. But you know, that's just what happens here. There's none of that crap, none of that propaganda they're talking about is true. Right? If I were to reverse it, right? If I was on the outside, if the propaganda on America was the way they was on Nigeria and the rest of Africa, you would think all of America was Chicago and Baltimore. And not just Chicago, but the bad part of Chicago. The bad part of Chicago, Skid Row, and Baltimore where the crackheads be at. That's all of America. And if you showed that, right? If you showed Skid Row, the crackhead part of Baltimore, right? The bad parts of every single community, trailer parks, not one human being would ever think or consider coming to the United States of America. Not at all, right? Not taking in consideration that America is a big place and there are pockets of poverty, pockets of well-to-do, and different levels of society and architecture. There's places in America that ain't got no Wi-Fi. I got 5G LTE right here in the middle of the boon hickey anywhere. All right? I'm in the middle of nowhere. I got 5G LTE. I'm about to go play Arc Raiders right now because I downloaded it. I thought it was going to take me 2 days to download that shit. I ain't gonna lie. I told them to download it before I got here. They ain't do it, right? So I downloaded it when I got here. Guess what? Only took a few minutes. I was surprised. Lots of improvement. Lots of construction going on, even though I wish it was going faster. You know, lots of development happening here. So yeah, in 10 years, let me tell you this though. I'll tell you this. In 10 years, most people watching my video will not be able to afford to come here and establish themselves. Most people will not be able to come here and buy land. Most people won't be able to do none of that stuff. It's going to be too expensive. Right now is the time. I was at the airport. When I was in Lagos at the airport, I was talking to a Chinese guy, and some British dude was all talking about how you better come buy this land right now because in 10 years, it's game over. It's game over. Now, 10 years is game over for anybody. If you saying, one day I'm going to go to Nigeria, I'm going to do this. If that one day ain't tomorrow, next year, maybe, this year, maybe, next month, maybe, you might be shit out of luck unless you hit the lotto. I'm trying to tell you, when Nigeria becomes what it's supposed to be, what it should have already been, but what it's going to be, those of you who sat back and say, I'm going to wait for it to develop, you guys are not going to be able to afford to come here. And it's going to be people like me who came here early, right? And bought a whole bunch of land before it became expensive. And then when y'all come and y'all looking for some land, you're going to run into me. 10 years older, like, oh, you want this little plot of land? Okay, that'll be $50,000 US. How much you pay for it? I paid $1,000 for it. But I want you to give me $50,000 US because that's what it's worth. And that's how serious it's going to be. I'm buying up. Listen, these people would just be coming to me talking about, you want to buy this land? I'd be like, yeah, I do. I'd be buying up land like a mug. I'm like Dave Chappelle out this motherfucker. All right. I'm serious. I'm on my Dave Chappelle in this little place. Just like he over in Ohio, he done found me a little white village in Ohio. I done found me a village here in the Kitty State, Nigeria. All right. But here's the difference. Because people ask me why I picked the kitty. And I know people are very curious. Well, I'm one of the very few African Americans who can trace his ancestry directly to the first African who was put into bondage in America. Right? Like my Sweetbriar Plantation in Lynchburg, Virginia, is where my ancestors were enslaved. They came straight from Africa to Sweetbriar Plantation. That is still there, by the way. It's a museum. It's a museum in an all-girls college in Lynchburg, Virginia. That's where you can look it up. You can type this up. You can see it was a very small slave plantation, but that is where I'm from. So I'm very lucky to be able to know that. and have a full tree of my history, right? Here's the funny thing. The African that came here married a Native American woman. Didn't show up on my DNA though, but it's true, right? Because the rest were black. So I guess she got genetically wiped out or something like that. But that's the truth. That's I swear to God, that's God's honest truth, right? But then I did my DNA, right? And I crossed, if you know anything about maps, right? I looked at my DNA and I did like a cross reference, because they always say, you don't know where you at. You don't know where you come from in Africa. And I'm like, well, I can approximate, right? And by looking at my Dahomey lineage, my Benin lineage, my Nigerian lineage, and my Mali lineage, I've concluded after doing a, crossing, looking at the cross references of where all the crosses pass, it crossed here. You see, when the Dahomey was running from the British, they ran up. They migrated to the Akiti, and they integrated with the Akiti people of Akiti state. It used to be Ado state. Akiti state itself is actually relatively new. It broke off, off of Ado. So it was Ado state, and then Akiti became its own thing, and then it's Ado Akiti state, right? But this is where my ancestors, the ones that didn't get captured by the transatlantic slave trade, because you got to remember, all of you guys have ancestors, cousins here that did not get captured. Unless your entire village got captured, you got ancestry here who are still here. Your family is legitimately still here. And I did my DNA, and I found my family members in Ghana, right, who's never been to America. All right, I found my genetics. So it could, all you got to do is do your own research, and you can get close. You may not be able to get all the way down to, this is the particular house right here. Here's the GPS coordinates, but you can get within 100 miles, within 200-300 miles of where your people was at, approximately. And that's what I did. That's why I picked this place, right? I figured I'm going to come back home. I'm going to bring my ancestors back home. The ancestors that still live inside of me, the ones that talk on this YouTube when I open my mouth and I make these videos, can trust to believe it ain't me talking. I swear to God. I don't write down nothing. I don't put bullet points. I literally have a feeling. I press the button and I start talking because it's the ancestors talking through me to you. All right. And they, just like they talk to you, they talk to me, told me what to do, and I did it because I listened to my elders. All right. And I'm definitely going to listen to my ancestors because they outrank my elders. All right. So that's it. That's pretty much it. You got to figure out, do you want peace or money? Which one is it? Because money don't necessarily bring you peace, but you can get peace without money. I'm not rich. I got bills in America, right? I'm not super exceptional. Yes, I made some good decisions that put me in a particular situation, me being a veteran, but I earned that. And I almost had to die a lot, right, to get them bennies, right? But you too, as a regular person, can come here and do this, right? Like, this is my gate. I'm in front of my gate. My wall. I just walked around my little neighborhood, right? My little community here, right? You know how much this fence would cost in America? You paying $100,000. I paid $3,000 for it. I'm sure it costs more now, but that's how much I paid for it. This gate cost me $550. You know how much this gate would cost in America? $10,000. Ridiculous. I paid more to fix the plumbing in my house with some PVC pipe than I did to almost build this goddamn house. The PVC pipes I had to fix in my house in America cost me 10 stacks. It cost me 10 stacks to build a whole house that I don't got a mortgage on. That's how shit works. So all I'm saying is, if you guys want peace, right? You can't be out here 24/7 like me. Like, I can't move out here. I got obligations in America that I can't get away from, no matter how aspirational I am about Africa. Because if I didn't have those obligations, I'd live here, right? But because I got to do this, I just go back and forth. And Africa's only a plane ticket away. A plane ticket and 24 hours away. Enjoy your flight, enjoy the commute, and you're there the next day. So that's it. So you just got to decide what y'all want. Y'all want peace? You want peace, quiet, relaxation, noise, pollution-free location, organic food, no mortgage, right? No utilities, right? All that stuff. And yes, my water is filtered, so it's clean, right? Or do you want to just hustle and make a ton of money so you can look at your bank account and see all the zeros, but you still got to wake up and go to work because you're either obligated to somebody or obligated to that business that you created, which is just a job that you created for yourself. Keep that in mind. Your business is a job you create for yourself. All right. Anyway, y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment section. Afro Think Tank, learn some detail. I'm out.